There's a planet in Star Wars that seems to challenge everything we know about the Force. What if the power to wield it didn't depend on who you were or where you came from, but simply where you stood? There is a planet that exists in Star Wars canon that seems to be able to give people Force-like abilities, with the mysterious past revolving around an ancient civilization taking advantage of these powers, and the current inhabitants being a group of young children surviving in the wild. It's a location that presents a lot of questions for the Star Wars galaxy at whole. We find this planet in the book Padawan by Kirsten White. In this story, a young Obi-Wan stumbles across Lenara, a planet that seems to gift its inhabitants with extraordinary abilities. But what initially seems to be the Force eventually proves to be something much more complicated, that if explored further, could have large consequences for future stories set in the galaxy far, far away. Padawan drops us into Obi-Wan Kenobi's life at a critical moment. He's young, headstrong, and full of doubt, struggling to connect with Qui-Gon Jinn and unsure if he's even meant to be a Jedi. Obi-Wan begins questioning his relationship with the Force itself. So when he ends up on Lenara, a planet that doesn't play by the usual rules of the galaxy, he's forced to confront not just his role as a Jedi, but what the Force really is and who it's for. Lenara is no ordinary world. The novel describes it as a lush, otherworldly planet, overflowing with life and energy. Its people exhibit abilities that look suspiciously like the Force. Faster reflexes, heightened intuition, increased speed, and jumping abilities. But there's a catch. These aren't Jedi. They've had no training, no special connection to the galaxy-wide energy field that we've come to know as the Force. So what's happening here? Is Lenara creating Force-sensitive beings, or is this something else entirely? As Obi-Wan spends more time on Lenara, it becomes clear that the planet itself is the key. Its environment seems to amplify or even generate Force-like abilities in those who live there. The line between the Force and the planet's natural energy begins to blur. But throughout the story, we start to get some clues to the origin of this power. The current inhabitants of the planet are a group of kids varying in age and species, being the descendants of a group of settlers that crash-landed on the planet generations ago. At first hostile to Obi-Wan, they eventually, through the course of the book, grow fond of him and is for the most part welcomed into their group. It's only after being fully integrated that Obi-Wan comes to realize where the kids are getting their Force-like powers from. The older kids invite Obi-Wan to harvest some of the power and bring it back to their group. What he finds is that on a regular basis, the kids have been traversing deep underneath the ground through an almost wound-like tear in the planet's surface and harvesting orbs, bringing them back to the group where they all share them and consume them, giving them their quote-unquote Force. But there is a catch. As soon as they take these orbs from deep beneath the ground, the entire planet turns hostile towards them. Animals and plants alike turn on the kids, and even the ground has the ability to shift and move to try and defend itself from what Obi-Wan can clearly recognize is a disruption in the balance of the planet. This idea is solidified even more when Obi-Wan discovers an ancient temple-like building on the planet that seems to depict the rise of a civilization, the opening of a hole in its surface, the harvesting of its power, and then the eventual demise of the civilization. But the kids inhabiting the planet are almost stuck in a cycle here. They believe they need the power to survive due to the planet being a deadly and hostile place for them to live, but they are unaware that the only reason this environment is deadly and hostile is due to them harvesting this power. But when a relative to the current inhabitants of the planet manages to find their way back after years with the intention of harvesting the orbs and taking them off-world to use to his own benefit, the kids have to confront their actions and make some realizations that what they are using on this planet could be something much more dangerous than they realized. This exact moment here is also somewhat fascinatingly the first time Obi-Wan Kenobi and Dexter Jettster meet and become friends, which I've already made a YouTube short about here if you want to check out that story. I won't spoil the ending of this book in case anyone wanted to check out that story fully, and since this video is more about the planet itself. Lenara raises some fascinating questions. Is the planet naturally attuned to the Force, or is it something entirely new? And if this power can manifest so strongly here, could there be other places in the galaxy with similar properties? One of the most intriguing aspects of Lenara is how it challenges the Jedi's understanding of the Force. For the Jedi, the Force is sacred, a gift that flows through all living things, but one that requires discipline and understanding to wield. But with anyone being able to gain a similar power on this planet purely by consuming these orbs, it presents some incredible possibilities for the balance of power in the galaxy. It is possible that there are a number of any other planets that have developed similar ecosystems to the one on Lenara and are just waiting to be found and protected or taken advantage of by anyone with the ambition and willpower to do it. Ultimately, Padawan doesn't give us all the answers. Lenara remains a mystery, its power unexplained, but undeniably profound. It leaves us wondering how much of the Force is tied to the individual and how much depends on the environment around them. Lenara might not change the core philosophy of Star Wars, but it does add a layer of complexity to our understanding of the Force. If there are other planets out there that can grant these abilities to anyone and everyone, how might they reshape the balance of power between the Jedi and the Sith, and everyone in between? Lenara may just be one planet in a galaxy full of mysteries, but it asks a question that lies at the very heart of Star Wars. What is the Force, really? Is it bound by the rules we've been taught? Is it the only power of its kind out there, or is there more? More unpredictable, more complex, or even potentially more powerful other powers? Only time will tell. Maybe we will see this idea explored further in stories to come, or maybe Lenara will remain a relatively unknown, lost planet, never to be found again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this exploration of Padawan and Lenara's secrets, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into Star Wars lore. And also, let me know your opinions and thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Until next time, may the Force be with you.